Hello everyone, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 on Prince of Darkness difficulty. If you start the stage normally, what's going to happen is you're going to have to fight the horned demons. But since I went back over to the right where the neutral elemental font, as it's called in the previous game, I'm not sure what they've renamed it in this game, if anything. But what I did was I bought 3 more keys from the Chupacabras. He only sells them for $200, so you can use them in a situation like here. And I imagine there's a trophy for getting all of them, all the caches. So there's 1,800 experience for me, minus the 200 I had to pay for the key. So now I have 2 keys left, and we're going to be marching forward on our quest to clear this difficulty. This is not too hard of a chapter. In fact, it's called The Hooded Man. So we'll be discovering his identity in a couple videos after this video, because the video that directly follows this video will be the large-scale demon boss, and then we'll be within his we'll be within his company. But I did a little editing for your consideration here, and didn't have to. Sorry, getting ahead of myself now. There's a couple of loading screens that I purposely left in here. I could have easily edited them out, but I wanted to show you what the longest one is over here. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but when I see it, I'll definitely know, because you're going to just see me standing around like an idiot. But this is a pretty easy confrontation. This is a level that's easy to get lost on, though. So I've had people commenting on how they didn't think it was necessary to have this game be open world, and I don't think it needed to be open world either. It had pretty lofty ambitions, and I think when they were making this game and sitting around their conference tables, they were probably considering all the criticism that this game had. Namely, it's a linear game, which is sometimes a bad thing. Not for me though, but for other gamers who don't share my predilection for camera placement. I mean, a lot of people don't even like third-person perspective games, and I can't even fathom that. I hate first-person because then I can't see my character. And that really is it detaches me from the world of the game that I'm in. It's just not my thing. But they also, when they're sitting around that conference table, they were probably saying to themselves, first of all, we have a closed world game, and secondly, we don't have a camera. The player, I've seen that criticism all over the place of people. They don't like it. They don't like the game because there's no control of the camera. But yet there's hundreds and thousands of people that like God of War games, which is a fixed camera perspective, and it's not open world. And they were probably also thinking of people who really had an aversion to the puzzles. I didn't like the puzzles either. I thought they were like filler. I hated them. But these guys here, they're either going to block or shoot. When they're shooting, they're vulnerable. So what you want to do is backflip over them and start hitting them in the back. If they're guarding, a lot of the enemies in this game, they just guard. So you're either going to have to find a way around to hit them on a side where they're not vulnerable, or where they're not protecting themselves, or use your Chaos Claws. And whenever an enemy goes off screen, there's a big chance that he's going to have that area of effect attack on the screen. See that right there? Just jump over it. And I think it was a bad idea to have Gabriel, when I'm sliding over to an enemy, have the enemy fall to their feet and are not grabbable, because there's so many times when I'm trying to approach a close-in distance to a subdued enemy who's grabbable and executable, I just slide into him and I bump him over. I think that was a big mistake because it really complicates things. Okay, so I think we're going to have a pretty big battle up ahead. Yeah, there is a cut. Oh yeah, this... I like fighting these guys here. We have two of the guys we've seen before, plus this guy, who has 2 health bars, as you can see here. What I like to do is the triangle X move to get up and launch myself as high as I can, and then just use the claws to kill him. You'll notice that when his mask comes off, he's very easy. All you need to do is keep hitting him in the face, and when a health bar goes all the way down to the red, he'll fall down, and that means that you can have as many hits as you can before he gets back up. But if you allow too much time to pass, he'll get to his feet and recover some of his health. That's the way all the enemies in this game work. But there's only a 1 count of those guys, and they're not hard. It's just that it's hard to stay alive when all the other enemies are shooting at you and you're receiving chip damage with the assault rifles. But you don't receive chip damage when an enemy is shooting a shotgun at you. You receive like the heftiest amount of damage I've seen in this game from like a standard foe deal damage. So that's a move you really have to watch. That shotgun is so dangerous. So this guy looks like he got trapped in a corner of that alleyway right there. So I finished him off, and now we're going up here. Make sure you turn around. It's really easy. I mean, it's really easy to get lost in this game, and I don't like that because it's frustrating. Oh yeah, here's the infamous checkpoint. So you restore the power, and then you have to wait for this door to open. And yes, it really just took that long for a door to open. Because what it had to do, it had to load this entire portion of the world and then close the world behind it, you know, logically. I mean, as far as the memory banks that the game is pinging data off of, if you'll excuse me that kind of ignorant statement there about, I don't know much about programming, but that's what happens. Another good idea, because the weakest weapon you have in your arsenal is a sword, if you don't want to... Oh yeah, I don't know how I missed this item over here. But if an enemy is at the point where your blood whip would kill him, but you don't want to kill him, say you want to feed off him for health pickup, you know, for more health on your person. Switch to the Void Sword if you have access to it, and then hit him with that, because more than likely you're not going to kill him as you would with the whip, because the whip damages them more. So if you just cut him once or maybe twice with the Void Sword, it's a really good way to get him into stupor status, and then just feed off him as you would. So now we're going down here through the hatch, and we're going to get a checkpoint over here. This door doesn't take as long to open, I don't believe, because it must be part of the main world we entered. But yeah, that loading is really ridiculous. But still, it's pretty bad. Even that one. Okay, so at the end of this world, okay, I thought that I had a broken situation on my hands the first time I played this, but it doesn't have anything to do with this section. I wanted to leave that cutscene in because it shows you where to go. But at the end of this, near the end of the video, it's actually in this area. But I think they put a checkpoint in that once you cross it, then you can't go back to where you're supposed to go without really backtracking a lot. I mean, Or do they? How does that work? I passed the checkpoint. Okay, maybe it was just my... Okay, now, I don't think I experienced a problem on this playthrough because I knew I had a better understanding of where to go. But when I was first playing this game, I had no idea. And I thought that I had to restart the entire mission to compensate for what the checkpoint did, but it was probably probably was my fault, but still, I wouldn't have that problem if this was fixed camera. I mean, you know, not open world, but I'm still satisfied with the choices they made about the camera. Who doesn't like a camera? A camera's really handy. And you could still hide a bunch of items without... I mean, still have a camera and hide items, but there's a font over here, so charge up your elemental bars. Okay, so it's directing us over here first, and I imagine you can't go over to where the sacrificial pile is. You see where the other... Because you can go up there right now if you want to and get the pile of sacrifice. There's also a pain box. I don't think you can see it, but it's above where I just was, up there on the stair, the fire stairs. And you need the double jump for it. That's why I'm not even trying to get any of these pain boxes, because it makes me mad that I have to use something that I don't have. I mean, that I've already acquired in a previous playthrough of this game. So you notice that I'm using the mist on these guys. A couple of them have assault rifles, and I think one of them has a shotgun. If you want to rush them when they are reloading. That's a good technique. Also, what I was doing was I was putting pieces of the environment in between. See how I'm letting him shoot all those bullets, then I'm going to charge him. But he's guarding, so I'm going to have to use a guard breaking move. Okay, so now we're going to be doing a lot of platforming. And I was really raging at this part when I was first playing this game, due to the fact that there is no checkpoint and you have to go pretty much on every one of these swinging mechanisms. And if you make a single mistake, you're probably going to fall to the bottom. And I think we've gone past that as a gaming society. Like, there shouldn't be a huge penalty for making one mistake. It should put you where you were before you fell. See how he jumped right there too? He sometimes does that, but he won't jump off. However, if you try to react to it and maybe jump, you think maybe jumping backwards will save you from a situation where you don't need saving in the first place, you could possibly jump off. I've actually done that. And I don't trust that grappling point right there, so what I do is jump over to there, because I've had my jump not line up and fell to the ground over here. So now we'll be we'll be on the rooftop. Now that icon right there, it means either saving or loading. Mostly loading, but sometimes it does signify a checkpoint. And sometimes I confuse it. I assume it's saving my data, but it is saving the data. But what it's doing is loading. And sometimes if I know that I've crossed one of those, then if I'm not doing well in a battle, I'll just let the enemies kill me, thinking that there's a checkpoint because I saw that icon, and then when it reloads me really far back, and then that's when I immediately realize that it was not a checkpoint. Okay. Now you're supposed to go up that waterfall after this battle, because if you get shot at by enemies while you're platforming, it will knock you down. So there's no conceivable way to do this without first killing all these enemies. There is a statue to dishearten if you want to, as well as we're back in the same environment. For some reason they want to have us do this area twice. And whenever they're in that attack right there, absorbing energy with their elemental attack, they'll throw the face at you from time to time. And it kind of reminds me of the death worms lunging at me in Ninja Gaiden 2, the way they do that. One of the tooltips says that a good way to control crowds is with the triangle move. The triangle move is not cancelable, so it's not really good to control crowds. If it would be good to control crowds on easy or maybe normal, but it's not good here. That's why I seldom use it. But I often used the square triangle hold in the other game, but they decided to capriciously just take it out of the game for no other reason than to aggravate me, apparently. And I think they've complicated things a bit with having the mist, because sometimes for some moves you have to have the bomb selected. For other moves, for complicated moves with the magic, you have to have the mist selected. So before you can even do those moves, you have to ensure that you have the right buttons, the correct button rather, selected on the D-pad. Okay, so now we're going in here, and what I really do not like about this part up here is that do you see the mist? Where's the mist? I think the mist is going to... I think turning the power on turns the mist on. The mist, excuse me. But once you do the cutscene, if you ever try to come back up here, the mist won't be up there, so you can't reach the top of the ceiling again. And that's the position I was in my first playthrough. Trying to get up top, or trying to get wherever I needed to go via that mist, and it won't come on because it's a part of the story. And what happens after you use the mist to go up to the upper floor? The story would be contradicted if you could use the mist. I don't think you'll be seeing it. What happens? But anyway, you need to use the mist right away, not kill the enemies, because the mist will stop working. It's on a timer. Okay, here's the part. There's actually a sub-floor over here, so if you don't restore the power and jump down there, I did realize that if you restart the checkpoint, it will start you before this. So there is a way to get up. So I was a bit confused. I'm sorry about that, but it is a brand new game. And this is the last battle, which I believe is... Oh, there's a pain box. I didn't even see that across the way. Okay, so we're in this library now. If you go too far over to the left, you'll trigger the cutscene. I think. I've never gone over there not having killed these enemies first, though, so I'll experiment with that when I do my next playthrough, which I don't think will be immediately after I do this playthrough. But just watch out for getting juggled. Watch out for the enemy. The enemies with the guns are just really dangerous. I don't think these guys have guns, but they might have access to them somehow. Okay, so I got a couple of hits staggered right there against my wishes. You know what I think? I think the more you upgrade your weapon... I think this is beautiful, this thought that I had earlier. I'm pretty sure that mastering my weapons, I increase my damage output. I think that you should get hit more if you upgrade your weapons as a consequence, as like a penalty. Maybe that could be a new difficulty or something. But I thought that was perfect, a perfect balance of sadism or masochism, however you want to think about it, from whoever's perspective. From my perspective, it would kind of be sadistic if I was going to have that. But it would make the game just a little funner because it would be more challenging. Okay, that guy has a shotgun, so he needs to be dispatched. Does he hit me over here? If he hits me, watch how much damage I receive. Watch this damage. I think this was the take where I got blasted. Is he gonna blast me? No, he didn't. It was another take. But it deals you tremendous damage. You'll be shocked at how much damage you receive there. It's about 3 times as much as that hit that I just received previously. So I'm going to do a bit of smashing as per my usual custom here. And if you go down the hall, then you'll trigger the cutscene, and then you'll be fighting the boss in the next chapter, which is exactly what we're going to do, but I'm going to smash these boxes first. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. I hope everybody is enjoying the guide. Now, a guide like this it's not really necessary unless people haven't played the first game and they're just playing this game without any context of the mechanics. And then I think that's where the struggle is really going to be at. So if that's you, welcome to the channel, and I really hope that this is helping you. So here's the last bit of smashing over in this corner, and I'll see you in part 25.